All right, thank you all so much for those of you that are watching. We now have our 1NC in, and I have it transcribed. I've already started some of the process of modeling the 1NC, the way that we showed in the previous video for modeling the affirmative. But now I've done a bit of the legwork already and copied it over and formatted it correctly. And again, what we're going to be doing is bolding the claims, underlining the data, italicizing the warrants, and then bold underlining the reservations and bold italicizing the qualifiers. Not as many of those, but just this is the Toolman model, so breaking down what the 1NC speech is. So I'm actually starting here in advantage number 1. So these are the refutations to the affirmative speech. So it's still the 1NC, but these are refutations to the on case of the affirmative. So I started with the first. My argument is even if we build these power plants, it's not going to prevent that increase. That's obviously a claim. And then he has this data from the Guardian that's really a large block quote. You could get really granular in the middle. And at one point, there's a little bit more analysis. It's actually right here. It says, this is by Mayor Hillman. Not actually Mayor's first name, so I can take that out. I actually am not highlighting or bolding some of these pieces that are just transitional. For example, I got 3 reasons for this. I don't think that needs to necessarily be annotated. But moving on, so then we have down at the bottom, so even if we're going to build these power plants, let alone just researching, that right there, there's no way we're going to prevent a 2 degrees Celsius increase. That is his warrant based on this data. So his second response to advantage 1 is, my next argument is there's a 2 degree increase. This 2 degree increase is inevitable. So then he gets immediately into the data. So world past tipping point 2017. Okay, so underline that that's data. Listen to this. So the report said that projection more of actualization. So sometimes actually a useful little tip here. When you see words like moreover, usually, and also you can even listen to the video, you can tell that he's still quoting someone. So I want to make sure that I'm getting all of that. That's not his analysis just yet. Sometimes little transition words help. Remark. Excellent. So as you see, I actually even put in quotes just to remind myself when I was going back through that that's something I should all use as data. Doesn't matter, change. So this is actually his warrant. Then it looks more like a claim. I'm going to go ahead and say that that's a warrant because that's him synthesizing the data that was already put into effect and kind of restating his claim, but explaining why it's now a problem. So the next thing I want to talk about is thorium's benefits are overstated. So thorium's benefits are overstated. There's our claim. Simply stated in the Wired on September 17th is a report from the UK's National Nuclear Laboratory that says, yes, there are theoretical advantages, but those advantages are typically overstated. So is one of those useful transition words. So usually means that you're moving from data into your warrant or your synthesis step where you're explaining why that data supports your claim as the Toolman model goes. Keep the formatting going. Now this is also a really useful piece in kind of planning my refutation step here, because this is an article from 2010 when our argument is all about research and development in 2019. So 2019, moving forward beyond that, and his article from 2010 says that the effects are just overstated. That's a really weak, that's kind of a defensive argument. So that's usually a good place to start. If the other side is making just a defensive, like saying, hey, this isn't going to be so great. That's not actually saying that it's bad. That's just a concession that maybe it's not quite so wonderful. Well, then you just bury that point and all the reasons why it is actually excellent. Especially I can point out and hit that this article is very old at this point. Perfect. Then we'll go real quick into this next one. Let's see here. Next one, we'll move on to advantage 2. So this is his response to advantage 2. And first talk about the harms. He said, people are scared because of Chernobyl. And yeah, he says that people should be scared. So this is a bit of 4-step refutation of they say, but I say. So I'm not actually going to bold the they say part because he's just signposting. He's referencing what he's responding to. I'll start with the I say part. Yeah, people should be scared. I'm going to disagree with that. That they're not being dramatic about this, that people should be scared. So I'll bold that whole thing. The first is first reason is that molten salt reactors use fluoride salts, and those are potentially dangerous. Very straightforward claim. That's kind of a supporting claim. And then EcoWatch, February 11, 2014, another super old article, explains that fluoride is meant to contain nuclear reactions, but it can be really toxic. If it goes gaseous, it's deadly. Great. Very straightforward data there. Next thing is mining. You need to mine thorium. It's not really a claim. That's really more of just a signpost of saying his next argument is going to be on that. So I'll go ahead and bold that and just say that, yes, you need to mine thorium. That's a fact, but it's just started as a claim. And you can say that that's underneath the claim that it is dangerous and should be a problem. In the Bulletin on Environmental Contamination Toxicology in 2016 pointed out that mining creates uranium dust. There again, as you see, there's the word "so" pops up again. So these fuels aren't safe. Even the safest fuels aren't safe. That is now his warrant justifying the whole claim. So it's kind of circling back to the claim, but it is synthesizing these points that come before it. And I will call it good from there. So next up, what I'm going to do is actually move it over here into the flow, and that will come on the next video.